What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today I have another game review for you here, and that is going to be PGA Tour 2K21. We're going to discuss if it's worth buying, we're going to give it a grade, and we're going to discuss the points about this game, what it all has to offer, and whether or not you should spend your hard-earned dollars on this game. So the first thing that I want to say is that this is going to be much like my Madden review in that we will have 10 points to evaluate this game off of, and those 10 categories are the Play Now mode, the Training mode, Societies mode, PGA Tour mode, the My Player customization, the gameplay itself, the gameplay presentation, the course creator, the variety of the game, and the longevity of the game. So there are 10 categories here with which we are going to evaluate this game, and we're going to go ahead and start rolling through them and hopefully get you guys a good review so you guys can tell whether or not you want to spend your money on this game. Now, I know a lot of people have probably already made their determination on whether they're going to buy this game or not because we're a little bit past release, but if you are looking to potentially buy this game, this could be valuable for you, or you could be just looking to hear my opinion about the game. After a certain amount of experience playing these various different game modes, customizing my player, playing through local matches, I've done my own matches, playing private matches with friends and doing some matchmaking online, playing the PGA Tour, playing in an online society, and doing various different things in the training mode, I think that I have a decent wealth of knowledge to bring to you guys. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Play Now mode. This one is just very straightforward. It's basically what you would expect it to be. When I talk about Play Now mode, I'm grouping all of these together. It's really fun to go up against friends in this game with your created players. One of the things that I will say is that you don't have the ability to play as any specific golfer. We knew that coming into this game, but it has to be talked about as a potentially negative point to the game because you can't play as those favorite golfers that you have in real life. I can't go out and play as any specific person. I have to play as my customized player. So that's a bit of a detractor. You're playing as the same player the entire time, and while it is fun to go up against other people, it can get a little bit repetitive. One of the things that I will say is that this whole Play Now mode section is very standard. It's not missing anything important, and you have the ability to do any type of matchmaking that you want, create any type of match that you want, and so it is very, very nice to be able to do that. So I would give this entire Play Now mode section a rough grade of a B. I don't think that it deserves anything higher than that. It doesn't deserve anything less than that. It's not flashy, but it's also not bad. When we go to the training mode, this is one that I have a little bit to say about that I'm not too happy with. In terms of the training mode, it's very basic. There's not much ability to do a whole lot within the training mode. From a training mode perspective, I would like to be able to do more. I would like to be able to set up specific situations that I'm trying to practice. Let's say that I'm trying to get out of the rough. I want to be able to set up that situation. If I'm trying to hit around a tree, I want to be able to set up that situation and practice that specific shot. I want to be able to set up specific situations, almost like you can design a course, but design a specific situation so that I can practice that, or drop into a course and drop my ball where I want it to be and practice a shot from a specific location. Now, I know that might be asking a lot for a first iteration of this game, but that is something that I think is kind of necessary in a training mode, more so than just being able to sit there and drive the ball. So as a whole, I give the training mode a D because it really is just too basic. There's not enough ability to do things in there. If you really want to practice in this game, I highly recommend that you set up a local match, set the settings the way that you want them to be, play against ghosts, and you can just go in and you'll have the ability to essentially play through a course without any stipulations, any negatives to it. Nothing bad can happen to you because it's just a local match. Whereas if you try to practice on your PGA Tour career, it can negatively affect you if you're trying to practice and you do poorly. So being that you basically have to practice in the Play Now mode is kind of a negative in terms of the training mode. With that being said, we're going to move on to Societies. Societies is a really nice way to basically connect with another group of golfers and be able to compete with each other. You can create seasons, so it is a really nice addition to this game. It's a nice way to play the game. I give it a B because there's nothing in my personal opinion that is spectacular about it. It is exactly what you would want it to be, and there's not really much negative to it in my opinion with my limited experience with it so far. We will see as the season progresses how this plays out, but I think that Societies is a good addition. I would say that, as a whole, it's a quality game mode that allows you the ability to play with a group of people. Maybe not your friends, just people in general that you could try and find a society with. Now, the main game mode for PGA Tour 2K21 is actually the PGA Tour Career. So I'm going to click into this real quick, and I have a couple notes for this. The one note that I have written down whenever I've played this is that it's honestly a very basic game mode. It's a little bit too basic for my liking. As you guys might know, whenever I'm playing franchise mode in another game mode, or I'm playing a career mode, or whatever it might be, I want there to be depth. I want there to be substance to it. And I know that this is, like I said, the first iteration of this game, but there's just not enough here for me. You're going in, you're playing on a course, and then you're going and playing on another course. There's not much interaction. I mean, there are rivalries that pop up within here. You are competing to get promoted to the PGA Tour. You're competing to try to get to the championship. There are those various aspects of that, but those are the very basic aspects of a PGA Tour. Aside from that fact, there's not much more to do here. It's a very basic game mode, I would say, in general. I just kind of wish that there was a little bit more to do in terms of interactivity. It doesn't have to necessarily be a story or anything like that, although it could be great if they added a story mode into this game like you would see in a NBA 2K game or a Madden or an NHL. It could be good to have that type of thing added into the game. I don't expect that to be in the game right away, but like I said, there's just not as much to do as I might like in the PGA Tour mode. So as a whole, PGA Tour Career Mode gets a B- for me. It's a good game mode, just wish that there was more to it. The next thing to discuss is your My Player customization. So one of the things that I think stands out to me right away is that My Player customization is missing a few brands, a few big name golfing brands. I just think that it's a little bit odd that not everything is there, and you're kind of limited on what you can actually pick from. I mean, you have a couple of the golfing brands that you'll recognize, like Wilson or Callaway, but there are some brands here that are missing. I don't know what it takes for them to actually get the licenses for those things, but I mean, one of the big ones that's not here is Titleist. I don't know why that's not in the game. So it does seem to be a little bit thin in terms of customization. There are quite a few nice customization pieces that you can utilize. You can change the colors on the items that you select. You can change the colors on, well, I guess you can't change the colors on most of the items you select. You can change the colors on your golf clubs, but with that being said, I think that the customization system is decent. I like where they're starting with these things. There's quite a bit to choose from, just in my opinion, not enough. So from that aspect, My Player customization is going to get a B grade. Next, we're going to talk about the gameplay in general. I think that the game plays pretty well. The courses feel nice. Everything feels pretty smooth to me, except for the downswing mechanic, and I have to note that. The downswing mechanic makes it difficult for people that aren't heavily dedicated to golf games to come in and play the game right away. Whenever you downswing, most of the time for players like me, it's going to give you too fast or too slow, and you're going to be slicing and hooking the ball into the woods non-stop, and it makes the game a little bit difficult to play. The nice thing is that they have the ability to turn that timing off so that it doesn't affect you. So that is one thing that I have to say is a positive about this game and increases the overall grade, is when you go to settings, they have settings for just about everything. Like I said, with the downswing, you can turn the swing timing off. It doesn't have to affect you. They have, 6 different skill levels that you can play on. They have multiple different settings, and I'll talk about some of the other settings later on. You can change these things, which is a really nice thing, but what I'll say is that they don't lead you in that direction to start from, and it can be hard for a newer player or an amateur player to pick up this game and really enjoy it. So this game is kind of more meant for the hardcore crowd that really want this game, and in my personal opinion, I think that, starting out the way they are, they might want to cater to the broader crowd to try and get in a bigger player base in order to make the game more popular and sustainable. So there's that note, is the downswinging is a little bit odd. The other thing is that there's nothing in particular, there's nothing that stands out to me with the gameplay. There's nothing spectacular with it. It very much reminds me of every other golf game that I've played prior. To be honest with you, it's not too different from Wii Golf when I played Wii Golf way back in the day. I mean, so many of these golf games tend to blend together. A lot of them are very similar, so there's nothing spectacular to note in terms of the gameplay here. And then one of the other things that I want to say is that there's a big detractor that you can't play as a real golfer. You have to, at all times, play as your PGA Tour career character, your my player character, which is a negative. I know that we knew that coming into the game, but we still have to talk about the fact that you can't play as your favorite golfer. You can't play as those guys. And there's no stat system in this game aside from the clubs. Your player doesn't earn better stats. You can't improve your swing. You can't improve your timing by, gaining experience or anything like that, which is a bit of a detractor for me. It's all the stats are in the clubs. If you have the better clubs, you have a chance to perform better than the people that don't have the better clubs. So that's a bit of a negative for me. So overall, the gameplay of PGA Tour 2K21 is going to get a B-. One of the best aspects of this game is the next category, which is presentation. They have some very nice cutscenes. I'm loving the cutaway to the other golfers where you can see their highlights, you can see your replays. Very nice. The other thing is that they have the ability to turn those things off if you don't want to play with the constant replays cutting in and out. So one of the things that I noticed is sometimes when I'm playing, I just want to roll through. If I'm on a hot streak, I want to keep golfing. I want to keep going and going and going. And what happens is I get slowed down by the cutscenes in the game. So if you're ever at a point where you're like, man, I just wish these cutscenes weren't there, or I wish they didn't take as long, you can go down here and switch these things off. You can turn off the PGA Tour Pro highlights. You can turn off pre-shot animations. You can turn off auto instant replays, and you can speed your game up. So that's a really good addition that they have into the settings in order to be able to play whichever way that you want to play as a person or as a consumer of this game. So that's a really good addition. So what I'll say is that the presentation as a whole, because of everything that they have going with your rivalries and with your cutscenes and replays and everything that there is about this game and how the graphics look, the presentation gets an A. That's probably the strongest point of this game in my personal opinion. The next thing to talk about is the course creator. Now, I don't want to give too much of an opinion here because I don't have a ton of experience with this, but I did dive into it a little bit. The course creator gives you a decent ability to create a course if you want to. Everything seems to be there that you would want to use if you're trying to create a course or edit one of your existing courses or something of that nature. I can't give too much of an opinion because, like I said, I haven't spent a ton of time trying to create a course or anything like that. So personally speaking, I think that the course creator gets a B+ because when I went in there, it looked pretty nice. It looked pretty intuitive. You could use a lot of different tools to help you out and create a nice course. So I give the course creator a B+. And then we're going to talk about a couple of general categories here. We're going to talk about the variety of the game. The variety for me gets a C- because honestly, there's just not much variety here. The game is going to be carried by the PGA Tour career, and if you can get into an online society, that will probably carry it for you. But one of the things to say is having basically 2, maybe 3 game modes, not the best for a sports game. If you want people to play all year long, you need to offer more to them, or you need the game modes that you have to be more substantial and more in depth. And so that leads me into my next point, that the longevity of the game gets about a C because of the fact that This just simply isn't a game that you're going to play all year long. If you're a diehard golf fanatic, yes, you're probably going to play this game all year long. But for the average fan or the average sports gamer, you're going to pick this game up, you're going to probably play through a PGA Tour, and then you're going to be done with it. You might play some online matches, you might play your friends from time to time, you might get into a society and play with your friends on occasion. But generally speaking, this game is not going to hold your attention for an entire year, and so for my grade, I give the longevity a C, because it will probably last you a couple months of fun and intrigue, but beyond that, you're not really going to want to play it too much. So, with that being said, I give this an overall grade of a B-, which is an overall of an 80. It was very close to being in the 70s, and with that being said, I have to say that I can't say that it's worth your money. This game is entertaining, but it's not that easy to pick up and just play if you're newer to games like this, and there's not a lot of depth or variety to the game that'll keep you playing for a long time. So I would only really recommend purchasing this game to a person that doesn't mind spending full price for a shorter gaming experience, or for what I would call an incomplete game. If you're somebody that doesn't mind spending $60 on a game like this that doesn't have a lot of depth to it and doesn't have a lot of substance to it, then sure, this game could be worth your money. For me, it's worth my money because I can get a little bit out of it. I don't mind spending $60 on a game like this, but for the most part, for most games, because this one is fresh, but for most other games, I have a problem spending $60 for what I would deem an incomplete game. If this game came out next year and was basically a copy and paste and had all the same features, nothing added to it, you couldn't play as actual golfers, the customization system wasn't improved, there wasn't added depth to PGA Tour career. If that game came out next year, I would definitely tell you that it's not worth your money. So that is worth noting, is that if you don't mind spending money on an incomplete game as a first iteration of the game, then yeah, you might want to give it a shot. It's pretty fun for what it is, but it's not going to take a ton of your time. It's not going to carry you through whatever next game you're looking to buy. So highly recommend that you make a hard decision on this and think about it before you actually buy this game. With that being said, that's my review for this game. I'm going to be coming out with a video soon, probably explaining my review process, because I did get a couple questions on the process itself within my last review video from Madden. So we're going to explain how I come up with the ratings and how I do all those different things, I think. If you guys want to see that, make sure you let me know. Comment down below with that. And in addition, if you enjoyed this review at all, if this helps you guys out make a decision, make sure you leave a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, and like I said, comment down below, let me know anything that you guys would like to see next, any other games you'd like to see reviewed, and we'll try to get that out for you. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a good one.